Taking plastic waste and recycling it. That's a good thing to do, right? But why stop there? Why not create a new product from this recyclable plastic, making it a plastic that is smart, a plastic that can do so much more, but more importantly, a plastic that is environmentally friendly. That is the kind of magic from the business that we are going to be talking about today. I'll be catching up with Mrs. Seah Kian Ho, who is the Managing Director of Heng Hiap Industries. My name is Syed Fardino Omar, and you are watching In Person. Food. What is a word that when you say it in today's society, people are going to think badly of you because you're even suggesting the use of it? Plastics. Come on, when was the last time you went to a supermarket and you know, on one of those days where people say, oh, today no plastic, you have to pay extra 20 cents, and you say, it's okay, I'll pay 20 cents. The lady next to you is going to look at you and you're going to feel like you've done one of the worst things in human history. Well, there's a guy that we're meeting today, and he's going to change all that because the work that he's done with plastics is nothing short but miracle, at least in my book. So here's the man himself,
Hello.
Mr. Seah Kian Ho, the MD of Heng Hiap Industries. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, it's really great to have the opportunity to actually be out here in the sun and enjoy the world as it is, because a lot of people are saying that we are not going to have a lot of time in this world anymore at the rate of deterioration. But here's the thing, you're working with plastics, and the work that you do is actually going to give us more time to enjoy this air.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about this this magic that you're spinning.
I think what happened is that a lot of people have problem with plastic because of the pollution that it has caused. But for us, we really don't believe in plastic pollution. In fact, we get offended when somebody mentions the word plastic pollution. To us and my team, it does not exist. The only problem we have with plastic is our ignorance of plastic. Even the scrap that we throw, I mean, all that we throw away, that we dispose, all the plastic disposal, it still has a lot of good inherent property within. For example, you still have very good property in terms of impact, tensile. It still can be reused and recycled into really, really good products. And besides the mechanical property of it, there are so many different types of property that we could tap into, which could then be converted into renewables.
Well, the thing is, Mrs. Seah, the agenda, or rather the propaganda that has been fed into our minds is that plastics is bad. Okay, you've mentioned some of it, you know, earlier. You've addressed some of the things that we've gone to understand. But here's the thing: the bare basics is plastic is bad. The use of plastics is going to deteriorate our environment, and every single time you consume something within a plastic vessel, that plastic vessel is going to end up killing a turtle or a jellyfish or something, you know. So, from where you're standing, how do we change that?
Well, plastic is only bad when it's linear, when it's open loop.
Okay.
Meaning you use it, you consume it, and then you throw it, it ends up in a landfill and it parks there.
Or
in a landfill, or in the ocean.
Or in the ocean.
Or in the ocean. The thing is that we have to somehow find a mechanism as such a way that we actually close the loop. We created that, we consume that. After disposal, how do we close the loop so that we can actually reuse these resources again for many, many times again, you know, for future generations, so on and so forth. For example, a lot of people would think that, you know, once you throw away, it's such a high cost when it goes into landfill. True to a certain extent. But what we could actually do better is actually collect this and then recycle this. For example, we can actually make very specialized plastic material that comes out from it. We can make it electric conductive. You know, a very good packaging material that it's perfect to support our solar or our electrical and electronic industry here in Malaysia. And at the same time, we could actually use that and convert that into renewable energy. So all this then is actually not a problem. Because of the resources, it actually becomes a feedstock. So when it's a feedstock, then there's a hidden value. When there's a hidden value, therefore there's a hidden currency that we should tap into. So the whole idea is that how do we recycle out of this? The biggest problem that we have is that we think that recycling is very complex. You know, number one,
Isn't
it's
it?
very complex.
I think it's complex.
Because you don't understand enough about it.
Educate me.
Well, number two is that a lot of people think that it's too costly.
Okay.
And number three, that people think that the output is actually substandard. Not true. It has actually evolved many, many years, you know, after that, and we have gone through many evolution. So what happens right now is that our team, the best that we could do is that we could actually simplify recycling. As such a way, this can be converted very quickly, professionally, very clean, and at the same time, responsibly. So the output of our product is actually stronger, faster, better, and cheaper.
So what sits at the very top of this chain, and you know, where the progenitor of your supply of plastics that you recycle, who controls this, or rather who uses this? Industries or individuals?
Mostly for us are the industry that's actually using all this. We make a lot of specialized product to support our electrical and electronic companies, our home appliance company, our furniture company, agriculture, and all that. All the converters in Malaysia and overseas actually do this. As a matter of fact, 70 to 90%, depending on season and all that, of our product are actually exported out from Malaysia.
Okay.
So we collect scrap from Malaysia, we convert it into very specialized, what we call smart plastic material, fast cycle, fire retardant, protein induced, that we actually add in protein inside our plastic so that it will actually degrade upon disposal.
Right, okay.
So these are the kind
So
of
the
things
protein
that we
breaks
do.
it down.
The protein breaks it down. The protein stays in the polymer during storage, production, you know, and consumption. Upon disposal, when it goes into landfill, when the bacterial counts go beyond certain threshold, the bacteria start eating into the protein, therefore
Right,
breaking
okay.
the molecular structure, and you only get CO2 and H2O at the end.
But this is what you put out. But where do you get from?
We collected in Malaysia. We have two initiatives. One, we just have our solid waste bill so that we try to collect all this and do the sorting and household. So that is a very good initiative at a country level, at a national level. So I applaud that
Effort.
movement, that effort. The other is that we have a very interesting community, which we call Karanguni, or the collectors.
Right, okay.
So if you look at the pyramid, it's a 4-tier pyramid. The bottom tier are the collectors that drives around in a small truck collecting all this old newspaper, all the you know, 烧稿报纸, buy
Yeah.
old newspaper, that kind
Yes,
of thing.
yes.
So that's the bottom bit, and then after that you have a small collector, and then you have a medium and large collector that actually has a factory that is able to sort all this material, and on top you have a pyramid. These are the organic collection system that's happening in Malaysia and many parts of Southeast Asia. They are the bottom one, the Karanguni, the collectors, they are the one that makes all this recyclable clawing to the top of.
So in your business model, the Karanguni man is a community hero.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
a brilliant way to look at it.
As a matter of fact, that's how we started out.
I know. That's what I wanted to talk to you about that in the next block. We have to go
Yeah.
for a short break right now.
Sure.
You know, when we come back, we're going to talk about how this man over here had very humble beginnings. In fact, was it your voice that we heard in the old newspaper blare out?
Oh yeah, you will
So
actually
stay with
hear
us.
that.
Stay with us on In Person. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. Hey guys, welcome back. You're still watching In Person with me, Syed Ferdinand Omar, and I am still with Mr. Seah Kian Ho, the MD of Heng Hiap Industries. I haven't found my sea legs yet, but I found this piece of rope, and I thought I'll just pretend like I'm working the sails because we are in this beautiful location. I'm of course in Puteri Harbour in Iskandar Puteri, Johor, and this is a UM Sunrise development. It looks really, really good, and it's this kind of stuff, this kind of nice, happy places that we really have to preserve.
Right.
And that's the work that you do. But
Right.
before we left off earlier, you mentioned about all newspaper, and I was told that that was the foundation
That's right.
years of your company.
That's right.
It started from that.
Right. It absolutely started from that. My parents, both my father and mother, drive a small truck going out to collect all this recyclable.
Okay.
So not only that my father was a recycler, my mother was one too. So the whole family, it's a family affair. We help out whenever we can. And then we have to finish our housework, schoolwork, and then after that we help out with our recycling work.
Right.
So that's how everything started out. Very humble beginning.
Well, hold on. So housework, schoolwork, and recycling work.
Absolutely.
So you even when you were a kid, you were already helping out with the family business. You were already actively
Absolutely.
recycling.
Absolutely. When I was 10, we were already active, doing recycling and all that. So we know that how it operates, how the trade, how the business, how do we add value along the way since back then. But we were doing that in such a way that everything was labor. Yeah? So it started to grow at the back of my mind that, hey, what if I start using technology in this? How could I innovate? How could I use machine and other type of technology so that we can do this faster, better, and cheaper?
But Mrs. Yah, I mean, we're talking about operating a truck, right?
Yeah.
To collect old
Yeah.
newspapers to a multi-million ringgit factory setup that produces not only recyclable plastics, but very high-tech recyclable plastic. The journey must have been amazing. Tell us I'll give you 1 minute to condense the history of that into.
Yeah, I'll try to do that. I think the first thing that we discovered was the fragmentation.
Okay.
Yeah? We have 6 different types of operations and they're all running individually.
Okay.
So what we do essentially is that we integrate all 6 very fragmented core process under one roof. But when we integrate that was never been done before, here in Malaysia or the entire Southeast Asia. So what happens then? We start to design and create and innovate and build our own technology and machine so that we can do all this to integrate the entire system together to make our smart plastic. So when we first have that, we were not sure whether this would work.
Right.
And we decided, we talked to a couple mentors, and one of the mentors we talked to was MTDC. So I still remember when I first talked to MTDC Johor.
When was this?
That was I think around, no, it's not 19, it's 2003.
Right, a good at least 12, 13 years ago.
12, 13 years ago. Yeah, so when I first talked to MTDC Johor Bahru, I'm like, this is what we're trying to do. We believe our system can do all this thing. And I still remember at that time, Encik Rahman was like, Kian, I love this technology. You should really do it. But if everything were to do what you do, then this will work. Let me bring you to another mentor. So Encik Rahman actually brought me to another mentor. She asked me all the hard questions. I was like, I want to see proof. I want to see numbers. I want to see prototype. And these are all the things. And she was very strict about it. Never tell you what you want to hear, but she will tell you what you need to hear. Then we actually progress, and then we actually get a grant from MTDC.
So what sort of stuff did you need to show and prove to actually go further with this, with the help of MTDC?
I think the first thing is that first you have to diagnose what is the problem.
Okay.
Now, what is the problem? Is that problem actually frustrating enough that is affecting the industry?
Give me an example of this frustrating problem.
For example, mixing. When you were to mix one batch, let's say at that time, everyone was mixing 500 kg per batch. We are exporting this material 25 tons, meaning if I were to sell you a container, I'll tell you that that's actually 50 different lots of material in there. You have to test the container 50 times.
Right. To find the consistency.
To find the consistent and to confirm the consistency. You wouldn't want that.
Right, okay.
So
process-wise, that was nightmare.
I know.
Okay, got it, okay.
So what we do is that...
I'm good at this.
You're good at this. So we actually create a silo, a gravitational silo, that one mix is 25 tons.
Right,
one lot is done.
So the one batch is, you go batch by batch now rather than units within the batch.
Right.
Got it, okay.
Right. So that actually ensure more consistency. So that's one of the invention.
Okay.
For this grant, we actually have 11 inventions. And with that, we actually integrate the entire architecture together, and that was actually first time being done in Southeast Asia.
Right, okay. And, having done in Southeast Asia, I've read on the internet and in various media outlets out there, you've achieved quite a lot, winning awards here, there, and everywhere, and you've got an ISO standard under your belt. You've got a lot happening. But again, I just want to go back again in time because I want the audience to understand what was the turning point from when you decided that, all right, we need to inject technology and innovation into the traditional recycling business that you were doing?
Very good. I like I like how you phrase it. I like that question very, very much. If I were to stay within commodity business, that would definitely become a sunset business.
Yeah.
Technology is the one that changed the playfield, changed the game altogether.
Yeah.
And in order to survive, in order to thrive, we need to do international business. And by injection of technology, we could then play the game very differently. For example, if you are an automotive company that you are making a product using a plastic material,
Okay.
and your concern will be the heat tolerance of it, me offering you another product whereby it can actually dissipate heat. So it works like metal, but it's actually plastic. So I customize that. So suddenly, I don't play the game as a commodity. That's always priced under the new material. Now it becomes a smart plastic that priced over. Then we get a premium over that. So by changing that game, it actually shifted us from a sunset industry to a sunrise industry. Kind of like the plays that we're talking around here.
Yeah.
You know, you would think that, before this,
Was
the
something
old
else
JB
before,
was something
and look
else.
at it now.
Look
right?
at it now.
Right.
So it's how you actually keep the integrity
Right.
of the old and that heritage and transform to something new. If you were given a second chance, what would you do to make it new while preserving the old?
Right.
Same
right.
thing with the plays that we're looking at
Yes,
right
yes,
now.
yes.
Same thing with recycling.
But the great thing is that the environmental consciousness aspect of it and the fact that you're actually doing the environment good is a byproduct to this commercial endeavor that you're doing right now, right?
Absolutely.
That's really, really good. Okay, so we are going to
Absolutely.
go for another short break right now. But when we come back, we are going to look further into the application of the technology that Mrs. Seah has worked on. And we want to justify why we are standing in the hot sun. Actually, I'll give you a reason why. Because Mr. Seah here is an avid traveler and he travels all over the world going to the UNESCO heritage sites. So he's used to the sun. We want to understand what else under the sun excites him. Stay with us on In Person. Let's go. Okay, we're back and we're still talking about plastics and the good that plastic is doing to the environment right now. We've established that technology plays a huge role in the work that you do, and you've not only embraced technology, but you've really given a traditional business a totally new spin, and that's amazing. But the other amazing thing is that this technology and this innovation doesn't stop here. You
Right.
actually take it far out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where are you spreading your wings to?
Well, I think the interesting thing is that the next thing we're going to go into, green technology,
Okay.
and renewable energy. Essentially, plastic is hydrocarbon, and then we could actually convert that into diesel and renewable energy. We're talking about
Plastics
electricity.
into diesel.
Yes, yes.
Explain.
Okay, essentially, diesel is made out of hydrogen, carbon, oxygen. The inherent property for plastic, from a chemical point of view, is the same.
Okay.
So carbon, hydrogen, oxygen.
Okay.
So you just have to polymerize it differently, strip it apart, and then combine it together. You can actually make your own biodiesel out from the plastic from your own backyard.
Right.
Our technology has matured in such a way that every 2 kilograms of plastic will be able to generate 10 kilowatts, which means free electricity for a family of 4 for 1 day, according to worldwide standard.
Wow, okay.
So if you're the breadwinner, find me 60 kilograms of plastic scrap, your family of 4 get free electricity for 1 month. How's that?
60 kilograms of plastic will get electricity for a month for a
Yes.
family of 4.
Yes,
That's it.
that's it.
And that is, wow. Is there a preference to the types of plastic that is brought in? What sort of plastic waste is of most value to you?
We actually take all kinds of plastic
Okay.
scrap or plastic waste, but mainly packaging and household. So these are the kind of things that we are doing.
Like bottles and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Okay.
So we are able to create this, R&D. From an R&D point of view, we can create a prototype. And one of the things that's very important to make this work, to commercialize this, is the help that we're getting. For example, we get a lot of help from MTDC. The most important and significant one, the first one, is actually being the first believer.
Okay. Yeah.
Into
this
our
is-
R&D.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So even at the point that we weren't so sure that we could get it done, MTDC step in and say, love the idea, make it work.
Okay.
And then when we make it work, they come in and help and say, we'll help you to commercialize.
Right.
And it doesn't stop there. They continue to do value-adding services so that they can actually take you to become a worldwide, a global company. We export to 24 different countries right now, and we have 32 IPs at this point when we speak. So these are the kind of things that we can do. So for us in Malaysia, we're very lucky because we have a lot of help and mentors around. And one of the mentors that has helped me tremendously are the team from MTDC.
MTDC, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 32 countries that you're out at, out to
24 countries.
24 countries,
Yes.
32 IPs.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
So I want to understand a little bit more about the 24 countries
Sure.
in a bit. But before that, let me just slot this question in. It all sounds really fancy, really, really great. It all sounds like magic is unfurling from your fingers and your hands. But I'm sure you had to go through some challenges.
Right.
Talk to us about one or two of the biggest challenges that you had,
I think
even until now.
Even until now, a lot. A lot of people still doesn't believe, or the ignorance is still there. There's still so much that we should learn about plastic scrap. So much that we could understand, different type of crystallization, and then it gives us different kinds of property. The ignorance of it, how do we continue to research and to understand about all these components at our own backyard,
Right.
which has so much tremendous power. That mysterious part of it, that ignorance, that we have to continue to understand.
And to address that,
To address that and innovate so that we can manipulate the knowledge that we've known about it,
right?
so that we can change it through technology that can bring us that can benefit all of us.
So that means what you're saying is the ignorance towards the understanding of what these plastics can do is your challenge. And if we overcome this ignorance, people will then see the value of actually separating their waste and ensuring that all the plastics go to the right place, i.e. you,
Yep.
and more good can be done.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
That's correct. And also the converters, our customer, will look into the value of that and say, hey, you know what? It's no longer substandard. In fact, it's better, cooler, and cheaper. So
Right,
that
okay.
the adaptation of using all this smart plastic will be more, and therefore become more adaptive.
Right, understood.
To
okay,
our future.
understood. Okay, so 24 countries you mentioned earlier. Give me some of your biggest markets.
Europe is big. We sell to countries like UK, Holland, Belgium, Germany, Italy,
pallets, yeah?
Spain. Yeah,
The pallets, the smart
Right.
plastic pallets.
the pallets.
Uh-huh.
And we also sell to US, Korea, Australia, Japan.
Right.
So mostly, developed countries.
Got it. Okay.
So that we
because
can
they see the value in it.
Yes.
Understood.
Therefore,
understood.
we are using our scrap, export it, and earn foreign currency to help our country.
Right. Okay. In other words, these countries are buying our garbage,
I know.
processed garbage.
That's it. That's a shocks and delivery part of it, and that's what we liked.
Okay, well, now that you've mentioned all these countries, right, time for us to wind down and let the hair down a little bit. So I understand that you are an avid traveler and you go out and you seek thrills from World Heritage sites
Right.
and you want to understand the old and all that. So are you the kind of person who would probably go for an extended business trip so that you can fit in all this sightseeing and all that?
I do.
What interests you?
I mean, again, it's the old and new. When I go to some of these sites, I start, with photography. I love nature, and then I venture into UNESCO sites, and I try to see the way of life. 1,000 years back, 2,000 years back, 3,000 years back, and you discover there's so much wisdom, that's already. Entrapped within that. So from there, you try to discover and imagine what happened. And what is good after that is that they actually adopted now that they add in the newest part, the new element into it, and it still fits.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it, and that's what I love to see, and that actually inspire me and aspire me.
On that note, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to basically sum up from when you go out there and you see the stuff that worked so many thousands of years ago, and in that very same spirit, how do you see yourself and the company in the next 15, 20 years?
If they can do it, we can do it. Our team can do it, and I think that in Malaysia we have everything that it takes. We have good education, we're far-sighted, we have good mentors around, we have good, very supportive, programs and government and all this that will make it work. And we actually have the exposure to actually understand the old heritage of it, and then give it a spin so that it becomes something new, so that we can come out with something that's adaptive.
Right.
And with an injection of technology
Right.
and innovation.
Right.
So we could do all that So we seriously have no excuse
to
that
not
it cannot
do
work.
it, basically.
I make all this out from a dump site. So anybody with an idea or with a concept would definitely be able to do much better than I do.
So you take crap and you make great business out of it.
Yeah.
It's been a real eye-opener talking to you. It's great. It's very inspiring to see that you can actually do something out of garbage. All right, guys, you've been with me, Syed Fardin Omar, and I've been talking to Mr. Sia from Heng Hiap Industries, who is sort of, you know, a spell short of being a magician because he's taking crap and turning it into crazy cool stuff. Mr. Sia, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's
You've been
a pleasure.
watching in person, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.